which in April, new season just around the well, getting to full swing once the weather relaxes. We're looking at some 2-year-olds this year, the different types, an early one, a mid, and an end of season. Just as your general bunch, how pleased are you with the team you're putting together?
I'm very pleased now. I just felt last year we got a chance of sort of buying a quality horse. I'm not saying that the end came out of the market, but I just thought there was horses to be bought for less money than the season before, if that makes sense. You know, Colts were given 50, 60 grand for, might have made 100 last year, you know. So there was a bit of a correction last year, which means that hopefully we've got some better quality types of horses, and we do feel that, you know, you've got to be very, you know, we do feel we've got a very good team this year, so looking forward to it.
Are you pleased with how many you've got in each basket, the early, the mid, the late? Are you well covered for all
Yeah,
three?
we are. We sort of changed that sort of 5 years ago. We're trying to get some staying horses because you get branded as a 2-year-old trainer, but we are trying to buy all sorts to cover every bracket, and luckily we look like we've done that now, you know.
We're going to look at 3 in a minute, which just before we do, the stars that you've had over the years, your Ribchesters, Masons, Wootton Bassett, Perfect Power. Which bucket would they have been in? Would they have been early, mid, or sort of later maturing?
To be fair with Perfect Power, he was always an early type of character, and we always felt mentally he was ready for it, and he was a very relaxed horse. My God, he was horizontal. But when you asked him to go, he could go, which I suppose he won 2 Group 1s as a 2-year-old. He proved that. Probably Wootton Bassett would have been a mid-season horse, which he ended up. But he ended up a very good 2-year-old. He won 5 out of 5, including a Group 1 in France. And Ribchester was always a backward horse. I mean, I always felt he'd have been a better 5-year-old because he was just maturing the whole time. He had a good enough 2-year-old season. I think he was second in the Jim Crack, won the Reef, but it was the back end of the season. And then as a 3-year-old, we felt he was better, and 4-year-old, he was better. And to be honest, I think as a 5-year-old, he'd have been even better. So that's the sort of brackets they would have been in, you know. So you have one of each there: Perfect Power early, Wootton Bassett middle, and Ribchester back end. You know.
With one of each to take a look at now as well. We're going to start with a horse who's an early season type. So as we're looking at 3 2-year-olds, first up, an early one. What's the first sign you know that it's going to be on who's ready to go?
Well, a little bit on exercise, quick learners. This guy's he's by me, Mass, out of 2nd generation, out of a real fast mare. So on pedigree it says he could be early, but he's been a quick learner and just got on with his job. Very forward and very powerful, sort of 2-year-old, and gets on with his job. So his early work sort of shows us that he's definitely going to take the work, which he is, and he's going to be early. And fingers crossed, next couple of weeks, he'll prove that now, you know.
And when does it start for them? When do they start going up, cantering? When does the whole process begin?
We break him in October, November, and we canter him around our indoor school. We're very lucky here. We've got an indoor school. We've spent 3 weeks in there, going both ways. It's a furlong round. It does the horses a bit of good, and it does the riders a bit of good, and it gets the horses' confidence going, that they relax when they're cantering. So it's a huge help. And then sort of before Christmas we get them up the gallop and get them just like cantering, just getting them used to the riders. As long as they come back with the riders, I'm happy. And it's just getting them used to the routine. They have a little break over the Christmas period. Generally they get a flu jab and type of things like that. And then we've sort of had an idea then which ones we feel are going to be earlier. And he's put his hand up very early on to say he's going to be early. And as you can see, he's a powerful, good-looking horse. And he's set up sides now. We've been a little bit behind this year, just at home. We haven't been able to get him away off the place now. It's been so wet. But he's done plenty of work at home and does everything easy, and haven't really put the gun to his head yet, but we're not far off it. Fitness-wise, he's there. He just needs to have the finishing touches and get him up on the grass and grab hold of him and see where we are.
And Rich, we're looking at a second 2-year-old, a sort of midsummer one. What's the difference between him and the early season in your life?
It sounds silly there. We're going a little bit on pedigree here now. He's by Hello Umazem, a first season sire. He hasn't been one of the early quick learners, if that makes sense. Now his father was a bit like that, and we're sort of tending just to give him a bit of time. Now he grew a little bit there about 2 months ago, and just sort of went up in the air, as we call it, and he's got to catch up. So he's just back cantering now, routine cantering. So, but you can see when we bought him, he was a sharp early type of horse, and then sort of about, I would say, the end of February, beginning of March, he just grew and just lost himself. When I say lost himself, lost his top line a little bit, lost a bit of his back end, and you've just got to give him that time, if that makes sense, just to catch up. And then we'll start. I'd say he's picked up now there. I'd say in 2 or 3 weeks we'll step him up again. So you'd imagine middle of the season is where we'll be with this guy. So it changes every month. It can change with a horse. They're only very young, so you're talking 2 months can be 10% of their life.
Yeah.
So a lot can happen in 10% of everybody's life.
Could he grow again? Could he have another growth spurt?
He could. I hope he doesn't, because he'll end up in the back end of the season. But that's, I profess any guy to tell me what horse is going to go which way. Some of them you buy them small, sharp, and they just stand on a grow bag, as is the saying we use. Just never stops growing, and you can't go without them strengthening up again. But he hit a growing spell early on. He did look like he could be sharp, but grew. We've had to give him a bit of a chance, but he's not backward there. If you saw him walking around the parade now, you'd think, well, he looks ready and fit and all that. But we know what's happened in the process of the last 3 months, so we've got to give him time. Instead of galloping, we'll just canter him every day. I'm afraid these are athletes. They need racing every day, they need cantering every day, they need exercising every day. And it helps build bone density and strengthen their muscles up and all their ligaments and bones and everything, just to get them to race now. So they need exercising every day. They're athletes.
And that's the skill of the trainer, to choose, isn't it, when to press those buttons? Because I imagine if you get it wrong,
it can be very detrimental to the horse. So but that's why we've got the team we've got here, the whole lot, Rob and me and all the lads there. They'll know. John leading the horse there now, he'll go around and check their legs every night, and you might get a little bit of heat in the knee or something like that, and you've got to monitor it the whole time. They're here to be protected, and that's my job, to make sure they get well protected, and they do.
Richard, we've just seen a completely different type physically again. One for the back end. Look, even through my eyes, it looks one.
Yeah, he's a big scopy individual. And you see mentally there, he's not really settling. It's all a bit of a game to him at the moment, and he's not really getting his head down and doing his job properly. But he's probably not done as much as the other horse, because he's just taking a bit of time to mature. He has done very well now. When I say mature, we said last month he's just back cantering, just helping him to build up his muscle mass and bone density and everything and all that. The bigger the horse, maybe sometimes they just need a bit more time to mature. He's the perfect horse that you'd imagine in time he'll get better. He's a good moving horse. He's never worked at all at the moment. But as I say, different type of horse altogether. He's just going to take time.
And pedigree-wise, did you always think that was going to be the case with him? He was one you thought?
The pedigree would be. Sorry, he should be early, but he is quite a tall individual, as you can see. And in his cantering, he's not got it together yet. Mentally, he's not there. Physically, he's not there. So we've just got to wait. We've got to give them the time. And he's quite a nice horse, a real good moving horse. It doesn't make him a bad horse, but he's just not ready to do too much too soon.
And when do you get the sides? Is it gut feel? Is it you do you get the instinct it's time to step up? Is it the riders telling you? Or?
It's a little bit with the riders, but mentally that's what we get paid for, to make these decisions. And it, not trying to blow my own trumpet, but that's what I do, and that's why I'm here. That's why my name's on the ticket.